Welcome to the Octo Effect podcast. Joining me today is Cynthia Sotomayor. Did I pronounce that correctly?
The gringo way you did,
The
yeah.
gringo way. That's the gringo way. That's what I thought. So I'm on this quest for enlightenment, self-improvement, self-care. So I came across Reiki,
hmm
and we're Facebook friends. So I did a little diving into what it is and how it works. But you are a Reiki master. Now, from what I've understood and what I've read, is a master is like the president. I mean, you really know what you're doing. So, first of all, in layman's terms, what is Reiki?
Pretty much, basically, it's life force energy. Just
Hmm.
what gives everything life. Life force energy coming from source.
Okay. So,
And that energy is channeled through the practitioner. And then
mhm.
the practitioner lays their hands either directly on the body or just hovering above the body, and that's how you transfer the energy to the person.
All
And
right. So, what kind of energy are you transferring?
It's life force energy again. It's just love energy. It's healing energy. It is what it does. So we have many bodies, right? We have a physical body, we have a mental body, we have an energetic body, and a spiritual body. The Reiki works on the energetic body. Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, it's hard. The physical. Do you understand that? That like
Yeah. No, that
the
that that makes
energetic.
perfect sense. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and then
So,
we have different energy centers in our body, which are our chakras.
right.
Sometimes these chakras get blocked. Well, many times, often these chakras get blocked, and depending on which chakra is blocked, then we can unblock it and we can balance the chakras. Um, the way Reiki is transferred from a Reiki master, say, into another person interested in becoming a practitioner is through symbols. So a Reiki master would draw symbols on the person that is becoming a practitioner. So anybody could be a Reiki practitioner.
Well, that's what
Okay,
I was
you
going
just
to
need to
ask.
be attuned. Yes,
Right.
anybody can become a Reiki practitioner. You need to be attuned. So there's 3 levels. Reiki master is the 3rd level.
Hmm.
And yeah, so with level 1 you acquire just a couple of symbols, and then level 2 you acquire more symbols, and then with master you acquire all the symbols of Reiki, and also you have the ability to become a Reiki master teacher, where you're also teaching people to become practitioners.
So, what are these symbols? Like you mentioned, level one, level two, level three. What are these
Um,
three types of
well,
symbols?
they're not they're secret symbols. Like, it's not some symbols that I can share with you
Hmm.
right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
You're given in confidence, from a master to a practitioner, and
Oh, okay.
pretty much you draw these symbols on your hands as a practitioner. You draw the symbols in your hands so that you get
Right.
the energy of that particular symbol, that depending on what you're trying to achieve. Like, there's a
Okay.
symbol that works more for like the mental body. There's and then there's the master symbol, and so you draw
So
these
it's
symbols onto your hands,
right. So it's
and then
kind of like a playbook, in layman's terms. I mean, symbol one, this is what this symbol does. Symbol two is this is what this symbol does. Symbol three is that's what this symbol does. Correct?
kind of, yes,
Okay.
yes,
Right.
and then there's it's interchangeable also. Like, you can use different symbols interchangeably also to get different results, or you can use all the symbols and use them all at once at the same time as well.
So when did you know that you were in tune? When did you know that this is your calling? Because we all sit there, we all go, "What am I here for? What is my calling?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm not supposed to be insurance salesman, or I'm not supposed to be mechanic or
Well,
what is my
yeah.
calling? So how did that happen? Was it at an early
Well,
age?
long story. It started. My dad was an anesthesiologist, was a doctor. So I
Okay.
used to go to the hospital and watch him actually operate. Literally, he would let me into the operation room as a little girl, like back in Mexico, and
Mhm.
back in those days that was allowable.
Right.
That I would watch, and became fascinated with the human body.
Mhm.
So then, on in life, I don't agree much with traditional medicine.
Mhm.
So I became interested in
Yeah.
helping people with more natural, more holistic approach. So I studied to become a massage therapist. And when I had my children with a midwife, so I didn't use a doctor for that either. So it just I don't know, life kind of steered me in the more holistic and the more natural away from medicine. And one thing leading to another, I started it's a long story, but I took on meditation. I started meditating early in my 20s.
Okay.
And that's when I learned about chakras, and that's when I learned about breath work, and that's when I learned about spirit, actually,
Mhm.
the energetic body and spirit. And so that led me to delve more into the natural and into the energetic part of
Okay.
healing.
Uh-huh. So
And
it
as a
wasn't like
complement, also, go ahead.
it wasn't like, I mean, were you sleeping one day, woke up and go, wow, I have this epiphany. This is what I'm going to do. Or was it
No, it
just a
was
long
many,
out
many,
process?
many different things. No, many different things. Like I became interested in massage therapy, and then at complementary to massage therapy, it made sense to do Reiki as well. And so it's all healing. Like I consider
Well,
myself a little bit of a healer. So I
right,
work on the physical and the energetic bodies. And
right.
I also teach yoga, so I have ample knowledge of the
But
the
we all have this ability, correct? To tap
yes,
into our inner energies. But why is it that we don't?
because we don't know. Because we've been programmed. We've been lied to. We've been programmed. We've been mentally manipulated since birth.
Mhm.
Even unwillingly, our parents programmed us because they were programmed and they didn't know any better. The minute you're born, you're told that you are Catholic or you're Jewish, that your name is this, that your nationality is this. Immediately they start putting labels on you, and
Right,
and then we are taught that we rely on outside forces to. You rely on a doctor to help you better. You rely on a priest to help you pray. You rely on so they part of this programming from early age is to believe that we don't have any power to heal ourselves.
Mhm.
So it has to do with that conditioning from early age. And I mean, like back in the day, doctors were gods.
Yeah, you're
Not
right.
not anymore so much. But
Yeah,
doctors were
no,
gods. Like, oh, the doctor said, doctor ordered. So doctors were gods. They've lost a lot of credibility because these natural medicines thank God, now beginning to gain more popularity in our side of the planet. You know what I mean?
right.
These are ancient medicines.
Well, and that's the thing, I mean, if you read the Bible or know anything about the Bible, people live to be 100 years old, supposedly. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what
they
it
used
says.
to. Yeah,
So, there were no real, it wasn't like, oh, I'm depressed, here, take a Xanax kind of thing. Oh,
right.
back hurts, here, take a, Oxycontin kind of thing.
Yeah.
There were obviously, and we'll get into this a little more in depth because I have a couple more questions to ask you about this, but, you know, the plant medicines and things of nature. And you're absolutely right. We are programmed. We become programmed. And I mean, I remember as a child going to my doctor. I don't even know how old I was, maybe 7, 8. He smoked. He was smoking in the office. because, and I remember, he's talking and he's like, I had an ear infection and he's blowing smoke in my face. And, I mean, that was the thing. You smoked wherever
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but, getting a little more deeper into this because traditional medicine has, I mean, you turn on the television right now and all you see are, if you have an itch, here, take this pill. If you're overweight, here, shoot this into you.
Mhm.
If you're this, if you're that, and
They're band-aids.
right there, and that's the thing. So something I want to talk about is chakras, okay? Because that to me is really, and correct me if I'm wrong, what really controls us and controls the body. Is that close
I
to?
don't know about it control. My cat's here on the table.
That's fine.
I don't. It controlling.
It,
We.
how about more
They're
if
vital.
it's
They're
the
they're
engine?
they're
It's the
definitely
engine.
vital.
It's the engine that runs the body.
Yes. They're our energy centers.
Hmm.
Okay, and they happen to be at exactly the same points where all our glands are. All of our, like the thymus gland, pituitary. They're all in exactly the same places as the chakras.
Hmm.
So these magical energy centers, they do run us if they're running at their optimal capacity, and if they're not blocked. I don't know if they run us. I don't know. I don't know if I like that term, but they they are in charge. They do determine whether we are balanced.
Right.
Whether
Okay.
all, yeah, pretty much.
So what blocks them?
You know, things like heartbreak, can block your heart chakra. Something as easy as that. Or it could be it could be emotional, it could be physical, or it could be spiritual, that they could be blocked. So say, I mean, even if something as much as you have a sore throat, that can block your throat chakra. Or you are unable to speak the truth, that can block your throat chakra. Or vice versa, your throat chakra is blocked, and then so therefore you cannot speak the truth.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
And then your third eye, you can't, the third eye is more of a connection to your pituitary, to your inner, it's good for meditation, to go inwards. Your
Okay.
crown chakra is to go connection to source.
So,
So any
all
of
right.
these are blocked, then you have difficulty doing that. Like you can't concentrate in meditation, or you can't really connect to source. You feel disconnected.
So I feel that I have obviously some blocked because, we chatted a little bit prior to this, and I'm getting back into the meditation, but I
Mhm.
find myself drifting off into past. I find myself drifting off into future, as
Yeah.
opposed to just being mindful and being in the present now. So, that obviously there's some blockage there. I mean, you should be able to
We all
just.
do. Let me just tell you that we all do. Okay. There's
Mhm.
anybody that you talk to that meditates struggles with that. And that's why a lot of people quit meditating, because they're like, oh, I can't do this. But
Right.
that's the meditation. That
Well,
is
when
the
I found
meditation.
when I found myself, like I was probably about 5 minutes. I was deep into a meditation, and
Mm,
I have to tell you, once I got came, I don't say came to because it's not like you're knocked out, but
mm,
once I kind of opened my eyes, I was like, wow, that felt really good. And I've been trying to get back to that spot where five
it's a
minutes,
trap.
seven
It's an
minutes.
ego trap.
It is, and that's the thing. Our ego takes over, saying that we're in
Yeah.
control, and that
Yeah.
we're the ones. So let me ask you this: if my chakras are blocked, can I
Mhm.
unblock them myself? I mean, how does that work?
Sure. You could. Yes. Yes, of course. You could work on meditation. You could literally close your eyes and visualize the chakra unblocking, but not see the trick with visualization is not just like imagining the thing.
Okay.
As it's, you gotta feel it. the emotional, like the universe responds to your emotion more than to your desire. Because
And
you can want
that's
something to turn blue, but
right.
until you feel like you already have that, and you feel the gratitude for having something, then the universe is going to respond to that emotion. You know what I mean? So you could visualize your chakra opening, but you have to like act as it really is and believe it and have faith in it. And everything is intention. The
Well, and
intention is everything.
that's the hardest part because you're absolutely right. It's desire. It's whatever it is you want to call it, desire, lust, whatever it is. You have to
Mhm.
believe it in your heart for it to come to fruition because you're not going
Correct.
to be able to just close your eyes and go, okay, it's open. I see it
I wish
open.
it was that easy, right? We would all
I mean,
open
too, because
the.
let me tell you something. I wouldn't be sitting here on this podcast. I'd be,
Of
roaming
course.
the world,
Yeah.
seeing
Yeah.
everything. But
Yeah.
that's what a lot of people struggle with. Now, do you believe in a God, a higher power?
Absolutely.
How does that
Yeah.
work?
100%. Yeah. No, it's not even a belief, it's a knowledge. Because
It's a
belief,
no.
there's room for a doubt. When you say
Right.
I believe, there's room for doubt.
Okay.
Absolutely. I know there's a God. 1,1000%.
Right. Right. And, because a
I'm
lot
not
of people,
religious at all.
right. But you believe in a higher power of
Absolutely.
a God.
God. Yes.
That now, how does that work in concert with what you do? Because you heal through your hands, and some people will say, "Oh, this is voodoo. This is black magic." I mean, this is whatever
There's
they
a
want to
lot.
say.
There's always going to be a lot
Right.
of
But I honestly, I want to take part in this because I really need to release a lot of stuff that I'm holding on to that I thought I was able to get rid of.
Mhm.
And, there are people, I still believe, just like back in the Bible, there were people that were able to do these type of healings on other people. So I don't understand why now these quote unquote Christians will look at something like what you do and say, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's not God's work. That's it." But then they'll go back and recite in the Bible where there was a prophet that did this, and this, and spoke of this. And I'm not saying you're a prophet at all. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is what this does is it releases light. You utilize light. You utilize energy on other people. So, is it a fact that if you're walking down the street and you see somebody, can you see what their energy is?
Not always. Not always.
Not always.
No, sometimes. Actually, more times I cannot than I can. And there's many factors involved. My state of being, first of all, like I need to be super relaxed and in almost in a meditational state for
Okay.
me to be able to sort of see an aura. The way Reiki works, though, is it's more of a feel
Right.
than.
Okay.
Sometimes I have been able to actually see the Reiki energy. A few times I've been actually see the energy coming out of my hands, but more than more, I always just feel the energy,
Right.
and
So
then
that
say
feeling. Right.
I'm feeling for which chakra is blocked. Like you're laying on my table, your head's over here, and your feet are over here, and I'm running my hands across your body to feel to see where if a chakra may be blocked. And sometimes I feel heat, sometimes I feel cold or a tingle, or sometimes I feel like I even get a stomach ache when that and I'm so many times when I get a stomach ache is because that person is having a stomach ache
Oh,
you
okay.
know yeah,
So have
so
you ever
it,
had okay, because when you're doing this, have you ever had that energy transfer to you, the bad energy? And then
well
if so,
that's energy is definitely is transferable. But as a smart Reiki practitioner, you before you go treat somebody, you protect yourself. You put a
okay,
bubble around yourself. You put protection around yourself. Yeah,
okay,
before and after, and also after. I mean, you smudge. I don't know what other practitioners do, but I either go smudge or I go jump in the ocean or I take a salt bath. Yeah.
Let's talk about the ocean. The ocean has so many, in my opinion, healing powers
Oh my
just
God.
in itself.
Yes. Yes.
And you know, I know when I'm kind of in a bad place, a weird place, whatever you want to call it, I'll walk up to the beach and I'll just jump in the water. I don't care what time of day it is. I've
It's
done
never a
it.
bad swim.
Yeah, no, I've done it, you know,
Yeah.
at sunrise. I've done it at 4 o'clock in the morning where,
Yeah.
you know, I woke up and I wasn't feeling right. And for some reason, something inside of me said, jump in the
Instinctually,
ocean.
you went.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm so fascinated by what you do, how you do it. Um, you know, chakras. How do you pronounce it? Chakras.
Chakras, depends
Okay,
where you're from.
the
Yeah.
gringo, the gringo. You know,
And chakras.
chakras. Um, that's what fascinates me because you know, so many people who, let's say, are go through depression. You know, that's a blockage of something, and they
Definitely.
spend all this money on psychologists, psychiatrists, and you know, here's a pill. Just take this pill. You'll feel better. As opposed to, because I'm going to do this and I'm going to probably, I'll book
Oh,
a
I have
session
so
with
much to
you
say about that.
and yeah, and no, and we'll get back to that. But I'm definitely going to do this. I'm going to book a session with you. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about the fact that somebody's going through anxiety. Okay,
Hmm.
anxiety.
Hmm.
Everybody at some point in life goes through anxiety or
Reiki is
depression.
great for anxiety.
Right.
Beautiful energy for anxiety. Yeah. So
Because
yeah, people. I wish more people knew that these tools exist. Because yeah, people will go to a doctor, and that doctor means no harm, but he wasn't educated to for alternate medicine. So of course he's gonna give you what he was educated to give you. You
right.
know what I mean? And they went to school all these years, and it's not an easy career. I mean,
No.
they spend many, many countless nights, sleepless nights studying. So I hate to discredit medicine, but it is so limited.
Well,
When it comes to truly healing from the root, not putting a band aid, not disguising the symptoms, not giving you a pill so that you no longer have a headache, but it's ruining your liver over here at the same time. You know what I mean? Healing, homeopathy, acupuncture, like so many healing therapies that heal you from the root that you will no longer ever again necessitate to take a drug.
well,
You know what I
you
mean?
know
And
that's
then we have plants.
right. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about some plant medicine. You know, first and foremost, when people start associating what you do in this, everybody thinks about tripping on something. All right. And I'm just being real. I mean, people, I had a couple conversations with a couple people prior to the show saying I'm going to have you on and, you know, we're going to talk about plant medicines and that. And, you know, I was one of those people at one point in my life where I was like, okay, if I'm going to do some type of hallucinogenic, I just want to go along for the ride. And I never did it just because I was afraid. I was like, okay, you hear all these stories, you get these flashbacks, acid, whatever it is. And I'm not saying I'm just saying.
No, I
So,
did. I did. I did. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
no, no, no.
Finish.
So, it was maybe a year ago that I started looking into mushrooms. And you
Mhm.
know about and I have a friend who you know has been using them for something and it's helped her tremendously and they're looking to use it, you know, for heroin addiction. They use it in Canada for
Mhm.
that. They're trying to get it here. Unfortunately, they're
Mhm.
not going to do it because of the fact that it's a $1 billion industry of, you know, just giving a kid a pill so he doesn't feel the withdrawals from heroin when in fact if they use this type of medicine that has been proven to work long term and only using a couple doses because of the fact that, like we
Without
said,
side effects.
right, and
Without.
like exactly, and like we said, you know, in the beginning of the show, we're all kind of, you know, programmed to believe this, and this. So I went on a journey, and I didn't go for a roller coaster ride. I didn't. This wasn't an amusement park, because I had set an intention
Mhm.
to get clarity, and I have to tell you, it was life altering. It was
Were
absolutely.
you yourself, or were you in a ceremony?
I was actually with someone who
Okay.
was not doing it, and they journaled everything that I was doing and that I was saying,
Okay.
and just because, and so there were so many different scenarios that went through, and it was at times extremely frightening, at times it was
Mhm.
extremely sad, and at times it was extremely happy, like euphoric happy. Now,
Mhm.
there's a big difference between mushrooms and ayahuasca. Okay, am I correct on that, or not a big difference?
There's a difference, not that big. It
Okay.
there is a difference, but I mean they're both deeply healing psychoactive medicines, natural from the earth, sacred, considered sacred by many
Hmm.
cultures. They're both deeply insightful. I would say the difference between depends on the dose you take, and
Right.
that's another thing with mushrooms. You pretty much you don't get the same journey taking a little bit of milligrams with a, when you take opposed to taking a lot of milligrams with as to ayahuasca. I mean, yeah, you can take 1, 2, or 3 servings, but there's only I think after the third cup of ayahuasca, there's no much deeper that you can go. So the depth of ayahuasca is more of a like an worldly. I always tell this to people. It is so difficult to express with
Right.
our very limited five senses and very limited three-dimensional language
Hmm.
to explain an experience that is beyond our senses and beyond this 3D world, which is literally in another dimension. So trying to explain a fifth dimensional experience with a three-dimensional language is really difficult. But I'm
So,
gonna try my best. So I
so you
was
can see another dimension, correct?
yes, I believe you can. I believe you are seeing beings.
Kind
Beings
of
you're
beings.
seeing. You're not imagining. I mean, there are different kinds of beings. You could see loved ones that have passed. You could
Hmm.
see extraterrestrials. You could see interdimensional beings. You can
Okay.
see you can see really dark beings too. Really scary, really dark beings. You can see beings, beautiful beings of light. I mean, it depends on what the medicine is the size that you need at this moment. The medicine is wise. Sometimes you think you're going for one thing, and the medicine will take you in a completely different journey that you had no idea that you needed more help in that. But when you come out of it, you realize why it happened. You know what I mean? Like
So if I
sometimes you
if
go
I
in.
if I do ayahuasca, and I go in with the thought of, I want to heal, I don't know, a broken heart, let's just say.
Mhm.
But after I take part in it, that the medicine itself can go, no, you're not going down that road. This is the road
You
we're going to
need
go down.
this other thing is more important. The medicine will know if there's something that is more important than your broken heart at the moment.
Right.
Because the medicine is wise. It will probably also heal your broken heart. You know what I mean? But like it does it sort of like an order of importance, I think. But then again, it's really hard to tell. That's what I was going to say. The difference between an
Yeah.
ayahuasca journey and a psilocybin journey. With ayahuasca, like I've had at least 13 ayahuasca journeys. Every single one has been completely different than the next. Like
Okay.
completely different. So I never know how it's going to go. And out of all those, by the way, only one has been like ugly and dark and scary. All the other ones have been absolutely beautiful. Of course, there was difficult moments, but then they became lighter. And then get back to that. And then the mushrooms, I think the psilocybin is more of an introspective. I mean, you go more inside. You go very, very, very deep, but
Yeah,
inward.
I did. I mean, it was
When it,
deep.
with ayahuasca is more like outward and then like all otherworldly almost. You
Hmm.
know, like you're in other realms, you're in other worlds. And by the way, I've seen UFOs with
Hmm.
ayahuasca. I've seen beings. I mean, yeah, you see.
So is there ever a point where, like, if you see something like really disturbing, can you get out of it? I mean, or do you just gotta
Yeah.
ride it
Okay.
out?
So let me tell you something super super important to understand. Set and setting are crucial
Hmm.
to be in a very safe place, to be under the guidance and care of a very reputable shaman. Not There's a lot of companies out there these days that call themselves shamans just because they've had a few journeys themselves and now they feel like they can serve medicine, and that is so dangerous. So
Right.
it's crucial that people know that set and setting are of utmost importance. You cannot you cannot leave a ceremony in the middle of the ceremony. Like I was in a ceremony one time, and they take your phone and your keys away so that you don't leave
Hmm.
until
Right.
until it's over.
Right.
Because the shaman needs to close you. You are wide open. When you're in plant medicine, you are wide open. All your chakras are open. Energetically, you are as vulnerable as you're ever going to be. You are bait for any entity that wants to come and take advantage of you at that moment. So that is why it's important that a shaman is there, because shamans know how to see these energies and know how to protect you, should that happen. And
Hmm.
that is also why you cannot leave a ceremony until it's over, because at the end of the ceremony, they got to close your crown chakra. The shaman needs to come and blow on you, and they need to close you, because otherwise you're going to go out in the world and you're going to be a magnet to all these energies. You know what I mean? I
Hmm.
mean, it's
Hmm.
super important to be closed, to close the ceremony, to finish. So I was in one that the girls took off. They never turned in their keys, and they left.
Really?
They had already
Hmm.
taken some ayahuasca and they left. You know, I mean, that's the liability for that is it's huge.
Yeah.
You know, I
You
mean,
know, when I did the mushrooms, that was the first thing this person did was took my phone, took my keys,
yeah,
and it was probably almost 5 6 hours,
yeah.
of that. And that's the one thing that and I'm glad you mentioned it, is you have to go where somebody knows what they're doing, because there's
Yes.
there's and I'm going to just say it. Yes, things opened up for me, and I saw things, and it scared the crap out of me. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like, okay, but you know, the person that was there with me, they were able to just use music and words to kind of get me out. This person knew that I have to go through this path to get to that path.
Mhm.
And if you're doing this with some guy you meet at Valero on the corner of the street, you're in for a world of hurt. And
Yeah.
and I think that unfortunately, that modern medicine should be using these type of,
Yeah, we,
whatever you
we were
want to call
going
it.
back to that. We were talking about that, how the doctors just give you a pill. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? When there is all these other things that actually can heal you.
So
And
what are some
plant
other things
medicine
that
is
plant medicines that work, that can be healing?
so many things. I mean, emotionally,
Hmm.
anything.
Yeah.
Emotionally, I mean, it's not that it's going to take away the heartache per se, but
Right.
it's going to give you that perspective. It's going to change your perspective. You know, like for instance, it's going to, like up until now, you've been feeling like a victim because you got cheated on.
Okay.
So after you come out of a ceremony, maybe you may be coming out with gratitude. Thank God I got out of that. You know what I mean? Like it just changes your perspective. It gets you out of
Right.
like the self destructive thoughts, and because it also raises your vibration, it raises your frequency when you're in happiness, when you're in joy, when you are with these higher emotions, you're literally vibrating at a higher frequency. But when you're in fear, when you're, when you're heartbroken, when you are in in fear and in doubt, all these lower vibrations, you're literally vibrating low. Sorry, my child's leaving. I'll call you later.
Um, well, like animals, like my dog, he knows, he can sense vibrations. He can sense if I'm in a bad mood, if I'm in a good mood, where he's at, his tail, his body language, all of that. And I think we can do it too as humans. I know we can. I mean, everybody can read body language, but I think we've just become so numb to all kinds of different things as to, emotions. It's like, oh, I'm depressed. Well, let me go see a psychologist or psychiatrist, and they'll give me something and I'll feel good. I was talking to somebody not too long ago about this particular thing, and they were like, you know what? I'm good. My psychiatrist prescribed me this, and I just
Mhm.
kind of float through life. And I'm
Yeah,
like, that's not a way to go through life. I think I would rather be depressed and at
yeah.
least fight those emotions than go through life as a zombie.
Because
I mean,
eventually that depression is going to take you. It's going to give way, because the only way out of something is right through it. You know
right.
what I mean? You got to feel your emotions. And that is the first instinct that people, that us in the West have, is just to reach for a pill, because we've been conditioned, we've been raised this way. We don't know
Exactly.
any better. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? We don't know any better. But thank God now people are waking up. People are waking up, and
But are
more
they,
alternative.
that's the thing. I really thought people were starting to wake up to this. And I just feel that, we're just still in a situation of,
Slowly, it's happening
of,
slowly.
yeah, it's not happening as fast as I would like it to happen because of the fact
No,
that, because, there's different medicines out there. There's different techniques, philosophies, whatever you want to call them, that I believe, are more beneficial than going to get a pill for something.
100%.
I
Oh my
honestly
God.
believe that people
Alternative
have,
medicine should, medicine, traditional medicine, Western medicine should be the alternative medicine. That should be the last resort. You know what I mean? People should try acupuncture. People should try Reiki. People should try any energy therapy. People should try homeopathy. People should try massage therapy. People should try yoga, meditation, plant medicine. And if all that fails, then go see a physician so that they can prescribe a pill that
right.
is good. You're going to be addicted to the rest of your life, and it's not going to heal you. You're going to feel better, but it's going to even change your personality. Some of these medications even change people's personality. I mean,
Right.
think about it. These are entities. You're putting these chemicals. These chemicals are entities. Like everything is energy, right? You're
Hmm.
putting this energy of this thing that was manufactured in a lab
Right.
into your body. It's changing your DNA. It's changing your personality. How many people walk around and they're like, you don't recognize them anymore?
No.
It changes
No.
their personality. They're putting these spirits, this entities, these energies into their bodies.
Well,
And
and
when you start seeing everything as energy, including the food you put into your body and everything you put into your body, look at the vibration. Like imagine the frequency that this hamburger has as opposed to this beautiful red apple. You can imagine the frequency of dead meat and an apple that came from the earth, just fell off a tree. You can
right.
imagine the energy in those things. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
everything has energy. I believe every at least every
it
living
is energy.
and is energy,
Every
and
dead thing too.
well, yeah.
What appears
I
to be
mean,
dead, like wood. This table here is it's
right.
vibrating
Right.
with
And,
energy.
and unfortunately, we've become so immune to being in tune with mindfulness and just living in the present moment because we're always scrolling, we're always swiping left, we're swiping right, we're whatever it is we're doing, and our mind just becomes so shallow.
And
And
another conditioning that we've been led to believe that we have to always be doing something.
right, right. And that's the thing. It's like there's nothing wrong with just sitting and being in the moment and getting to know yourself as opposed to looking for validation from others on social media. Oh, look, I just got 46 likes for a picture I put up of me at work. Oh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
instead, get that validation from internal, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so basically, if somebody wants to reach out to you, okay, and contact you to get more information, to, you know, have a, what would you call it, session?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
A session.
how would somebody do that?
They can look at my Instagram, Cynthia Sotomayor,
Hmm.
or they could text me, or well, my number. You mean?
No,
Well,
no,
I
just
guess best way would be like Cynthia Sotomayor. I get a lot of clients through Instagram and
okay.
word of mouth. I mean, I have like my regular clients. I also work at a spa. But yeah, my Instagram, I think it's the safest way to contact me.
All right, so I'll
And,
put that in the show notes and let people, find you because I think what you do is fascinating. And the more I spoke to you and the more, the research I did on it, I was just like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'll figure out, set up some time because I really want to try this because nothing else on certain things has worked at all.
Mhm.
So, it's not like I'm going to the dark side or getting some. When you
It
mentioned
won't
acupuncture,
hurt, that's for sure. It
well,
certainly won't
that's the
hurt.
thing. That's the thing, and it's funny because when you mentioned acupuncture, I at one point was smoking and tried to quit. So someone said, "Oh, go to acupuncture." I'm like, "Okay."
Mhm.
So I went to an acupuncture school, and just because it was less expensive, and I'm like, so she's put them in, and she put one in my wrist and hit the bone, and that was it. I was like, I'm done. I can't. This is way too
Never
painful.
again.
Never again. But my meditation has gotten better. I'm at like 5 minutes right now. I want to
Sure.
get that up to like 7 and then 10, and I'd love to do a 20-minute one. Just kind of chill out.
Consistency is key. Just
You know,
consistency. 5 minutes are better than no minutes.
That's the thing. And like I said, in the beginning of the show, that I'm on this quest for, self improvement, enlightenment, finding some other levels of energies to tap into, as opposed to, calling a doctor going, I'm not feeling too good,
Yes.
kind of thing. Because I'm just not into that anymore. I'm really not. Uh,
No, me neither.
you know, and, and so I appreciate you coming on the show and talking about what
Please.
you do, and it's fascinating. I mean, it absolutely is, and I think we just scratched the surface of it. So
Yes, I was just gonna say that. I mean, there's so much that we could expand in all the topics, and yeah, but thank you. I appreciate it.
yeah, so let's see how this goes, and maybe have you back on for another show, and we can delve into some more stuff. So appreciate you
Of
coming on
course.
board. Thanks so much.
All right, Jim. Take care.
All
Thank
right.
you.